Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back here with Nanny Poppins Agency. That's right, the owner, Jennifer Bouchard, joining us here live today on the podcast and the Zoomcast to discuss all that her full-service agency helps with, both you candidates, for clients. They are nationwide domestic staffing and so much more. Excited to have you back here. How are you?
I'm great today, Jill. How are you?
I'm doing well and excited to have you here to talk more about all the services you provide, because you're not just a nanny agency. There's so much that you care for. And I met a lot of your staff, Emily, Jen. We've had some great conversations about all that you have to offer. So why don't you fill us in a little bit about your services? And let me tell them off the top. It's the website, nannypoppinsagency.com. So to give us a little overview before we begin.
So my name is Jennifer. I started the Nanny Poppins Agency back in 1995 when I was 23, right out of journalism school in Boston. I started with my best friend from elementary school, just placing nannies, which it is a serious business, even though everyone says the name is cute. It is a lot. And so we did start really young. We got licensed, got incorporated, and did all our own marketing. And within, a short amount of time, we're one of the busiest agencies in New England. And then around 2007, during the recession, I started working on going nationwide, and we've persevered. And now we are absolutely nationwide, and we do place nannies, but we also place full household, private, and lifestyle staffing.
Amazing. And you've grown and grown and grown. It's October, would you say October 27th?
We're heading towards 30 years. On October 27th, we just hit, I think, 29 years.
She doesn't even look old enough to be running a business. So. You started in the womb.
52. Yes. So, so I know you have some questions.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. What would you say sets you apart from any other agency? Would you mind sharing?
Well, that I started at 23 years old.
Darn right.
With my friend, and we're still in business. The statistics about businesses starting, the majority of them fail. And then I did shut the ringer off. Let me shut that off because the ringer doesn't listen. So starting back in 1995, before the internet and everything, but just being so young and starting any business and having it succeed, I think sets us apart. But having this type of business that you have to be very detail oriented, very ethical, really pay attention to the times and the employment market and everything. And just actually also so having that many years in business, being able to understand people, having a natural curiosity of getting to know people has led us to be able to train a team of very successful and smart women that can actually service nationally. Our resources, are really unlimited in terms of reaching the candidates that are, specific to this type of niche, and also to getting to know the candidates well enough to accurately present them to the clients, getting to know the clients well enough. I mean, there are other agencies that can't fill the jobs that we fill. Yeah. So I think our expertise, our knowledge, and we're very hard workers. So the women that are making the placements through my agency, they are also, they're working on the weekends, they're working in the evenings, they're up at 5 a.m. going through candidates. And so we could go through 55 candidates to get to one. Yeah.
And could you share that process? Because I know you guys are really good with doing that, because you want to do background checks, right? You want to make sure they're a good fit, or maybe find out if they're not a good fit. Could you just share that process about, the work you do behind the scenes to make sure we have viable candidates? So it really does start with the clients and the people that ultimately make the decision about who they hire. We are a placement agency, so we're not telling, like, if for you and your kids, I wouldn't say, Jill, here's your nanny, or here's your housekeeper, or here's your caregiver for your mom, or your assistant. We would be sending you a selection of candidates, and you decide if you pick any of them. But, you would then be speaking with us, going through their files, looking at their references. We do call each reference ourselves, speak with them at length, asking them detailed questions. Got it. Everything we do is transparent. So the former employers, the people providing the references, you would also be able to contact them before making an offer to someone. Yep. And then the only thing we outsource, they're all interviewed face-to-face. We have to make sure they're legal to work in the United States.
Also, they have to show a copy of their legal ID. And then we go through a list of questions that can be a little controversial because it's important to get to know them professionally and academically and situationally and where they are in their life. But it's also, we have to get to know their background.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about before, we want to look for all of their attributes and also look for any red flags or thing that the candidates or the clients too haven't thought about that could cause a conflict with the commitment or the scheduling or the personalities. Because someone I might send to your family, I may not send to another.
Well, we
Just
appreciate
based on
that.
your lifestyle, living situation, personality, your likes or dislikes, what's important to you, your pet peeves as well. So the screening process is recruit, interview, reference, refer. So if they don't make it through the interview, they're not going to make it to the reference process. If they don't make it through the reference process, they're not going to make it to the interview. We do set up all the phone calls, the interviews, and all the meetings with the clients and the candidates. We facilitate everything. And then when the client wants to make an offer, then we run the final background checks, which that's the only thing we outsource because we need a nationally accredited consumer reporting agency who actually employs, they're called court researchers, and they know how to get the appropriate records for the right person. They physically go into the local courts after running an address locator, social security, and name traced on the candidate that's given permission to do that because they're about to get hired. And then they check them for misdemeanors, felonies, violent federal crimes in every area in which they've lived, and driving record, sex offender database, and then they run a database check that's called the National Criminal Database. You wouldn't want to rely on that alone, Jill. You want to make sure that they go into the courts in all the areas and get the right records. Criminal records don't go by social security number. They go by name. And, there's many Megan McCarthy's in the country. Just many people with similar names. There's more than Jennifer Bouchard in the country. So they have to go in and make sure they're getting the record on the right person, and they have to check them in every last name they've had. We tell the clients, if someone gets arrested in their maiden name and then gets married and changes it, for example, if you don't check them in both names separately, you'll miss the record.
Got it. Well, hold on. Is there ever a time that maybe a client's not fit for your services? Has that ever happened? Because, you're working with the candidate side and the client side as well.
Yeah, there's a misconception about live-ins, especially for, nannies and housekeepers, where it's like, oh, well, we're paying for their living expenses. We don't do exchanges. We are nothing like an au pair agency. An au pair agency, you talk to them on the phone. I don't know their whole process, but it's not a cultural exchange. The people we're not placing people who need a place to live. We're placing people who want to be in the home doing domestic work, whether it's newborn care, whether it's a nurse, whether it's a nanny, special needs caregiver, elder care provider, or someone to be your assistant. We are placing people for live-ins, and they also get paid. So if some of them get paid more than live out because they're giving them more flexibility. The families typically that have the lifestyle that they need to live in, they travel, they work late, they have, different houses, they have, so there's a misconception with the live-ins because people might be like, I want to pay X amount per week, like $600 a week or $18 an hour. Well, $18 an hour was good in like maybe 1999. I don't know, but pay. Having people understand why they're paying more to their nanny than they are to their admin in their office at work.
Got it.
Getting through to people about the value on this as well. You said misconceptions. What was the question?
Well, no, it was about, sometimes a client not being fit. Yes.
So if they're not paying market rate or higher, it won't be a successful search. If they don't understand that they have to also be comfortable with the screening process and that they have the right to check, and that we encourage them to check their own references, and that we are not a lawyer. We don't have an employment relationship with the candidates that we place. If the client isn't appropriate on the phone, then we won't work them. Once we've placed the person in the home, that's when sometimes we really find out that it's not a good environment for someone to work in. So we have had some problems, like more often we have problems with the employers who are the clients more often than we do with the candidates because of something going on in the home that then bleeds over into the the life of the person that works for them.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. Now, do you also help families that have special needs children as well?
Yes, including myself. And I've gotten nannies through my agency as well. So yes, we do. We do a ton of special needs care. I just heard a statistic, don't quote me,
Okay.
that by like, I don't know if it's the end of this year or next year, 1 in 36 children will be diagnosed with autism. I heard it at the gym where when I was one of the man that owns the gym that I go to with my trainer, he was saying it. And so, there are a lot of children and adults that do have special needs. And so it doesn't matter the age of the person. It could be a child with cerebral palsy or somewhere on the spectrum. We place, any type of special needs caregiver from Nanny all the way up to BCBA, which is a board certified behavior analysis.
Yeah.
I have a client out of Palm Beach in New York, and she has a son with low functioning autism. He's very athletic. So I think I mentioned this before, she actually hired a BCBA that she employs privately through us. And that BCBA manages the RBTs, which is a registered behavior technician. Mm-hmm. And they also do like athletic running and swimming with him. And they maintain his, all of his daily living has to be, like hands-on all day throughout the day.
Got it.
And so she wants to keep him home and to have the lifestyle that they live, so she has the means to do that. But, it could just be, they have a fully staffed home. It could be anyone that has a special type of need. And we also place home health aides. We don't, people that are more of a higher level of service, when they hire us, as opposed to going to like a home health care agency, they're paying more, they want a higher level of care. They want to pick the person that's going into the house, not just have the agency send them in.
Yeah.
So that's different from a caregiving agency, is those agencies send in the person where we send them people to select from.
Great.
For them to hire and for them to employ.
Thank you. And is there specific, qualifications that, your, nannies, I know we're focusing on nannies right now, but there's still so much more to you. We'll get to that in just a sec. Like first aid, CPR certified, is there training courses they must have, or do you train them yourself?
That's interesting. For example, it's private care. So you could have a nanny in a house with a newborn and 3 other children who has less experience or qualifications on paper than a person with 1 child who's just like really well behaved and like not a lot of duties going on over there. So it's private care. So the parents of the people hiring nannies, they describe their criteria. I don't take any ownership of what the clients want. The client wants what they want, and they give us the job order. We do help them with scheduling and giving them advice and stuff, but we are looking to fill what they're looking for. So one family's criteria is going to be different from the other, and it's not a government. It's not a government role. So the government isn't regulating, and nor should they, in my opinion, who goes into our home to take care of our children. That's the parent's job. So if the parent says, I want current CPR, that's easy to get updated. Of course, I would prefer everyone have that, but we're just meeting the criteria of the family.
Got it.
And, some of the moms don't have CPR. So sometimes I'll say, why don't you take it together? But it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Well, what about last minute services? Do you, is there someone that calls you and needs someone right away, or doesn't work that way?
Yeah, and the other thing, for the qualifications, just to finish that thought of mine, a lot of these candidates are highly educated.
Yeah.
Some are more educated than the clients. Not that the clients are very successful people, but the candidates come with all different types of qualifications, and they do have to have relevant experience that we can verify. Got it. But some of them are going to have a lot more different types of training, but there's no licensing offered to a nanny. So you can't, if you're not going to offer a license to a nanny or a certification like you would to someone who's a preschool teacher, then you can't put those types of qualifications on them. But we do have people that have been preschool teachers, been Montessori teachers, are bilingual, speak, 3 languages. So the criteria that the clients give us, they may want an educated nanny. They may not care, but they may want a nanny who's raised their own children. They might want, we're just really working to make sure that we're finding suitable people that have the experience that they need. And, that does vary, but we are not placing we're not placing just anyone. We could literally go through 55, 60 applicants and only want to meet 4 of them. So we're being very specific about who we're even meeting before we even present a candidate to the client.
Perfect. And what happens if something does go wrong? If it's not a good fit, could you share the process of
If it's not a good fit, I'm really grateful when people let us know, because if it gets in front of me before it's gotten to a big problem, with personalities or whatever's going on, then I can usually resolve it. Giving advice, because I've been doing this for so long, it's almost like psychically inside of me how to help fix it.
Yeah.
But if they don't let us know, then we can't be in there managing either the candidate or the client, but the client does have a guarantee period, depending on how they typically it's 90 days to let us know, but we do have alternative packages that they can pay additionally for, which would give a 6-month guarantee or a 12-month guarantee.
Got it.
So that would be up to the client if they want to extend that out.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so we do start looking for replacements.
All right. Well, also, let's talk about the other services that you provide as well. It's not just nannies. I know it started off that way, and that's huge, but you are helping so many different people. Could you just share about how you've expanded over these past 30 years?
I love the name of the agency. I love the name of the agency, but it does, I feel like it does limit people. They do from remembering that what we do. So, the domestic workers of the country could be also like a chief of staff that's running a huge house that's fully staffed with executive housekeepers, chefs, maybe nannies, butlers, some people have a home office, if they have a huge trust, a family trust or a family business, or just high net worth individuals, they typically have someone running their finances and their schedule. And so we could fill any of those roles as well, administrative, as well as, household management. And some people are managing the grounds. If they have a large property, we could place a houseman, or, we had to place one person that was like almost an engineer to manage almost a 300-acre compound. Wow. For a family. But it could just be a housekeeper, because everybody's so busy. I have the cleaning people coming in once a week, and they'll help with some laundry, but a lot of cleaners won't. So household managers, family assistants, chefs, cooks, housekeepers, personal assistants, newborn care specialists. Anything that you need in your house, just let me know, or your life. It's lifestyle, it's caregiving, whatever you need.
Perfect. And what else do you want your listeners to know about you and the work that you're able to help people with nationwide?
I mean, I just really, to me, I know how hard that I worked over the years, really trying to help families when we were placing nannies, and the satisfaction that we get when we make, a real quality placement and it changes the life of a family. The only thing that really discourages me about this business, this industry specifically, is that we're not your nanny. Okay. We're not your housekeeper. We've checked the references. You have the references. You have the criminal checks. Everything that we know, you hire an agency to do a search. Okay. That's not my employee. So you make a decision on who to hire. If for some reason you're not happy, then we have that agreement where we're going to fulfill the replacement policy that you've chosen. Yeah. But we can't physically be in there to manage how the relationship turns out. And so just wanting people to realize that we're working really hard to make sure that you've made a quality selection. And if you're not happy with it, it was your decision, and we're here to help you if we possibly can. But that's really the only thing where the gray area comes in is if you hired me to place a podcast host, if it didn't work out, you wouldn't be telling me I placed bad podcast hosts. Yeah. But when you're placing someone in someone's home, they think that it's a reflection on us when they know everything we do is transparent. They know everything we know, and they physically have the background checks, the references, and all the information that we have. So that's the only part that is, I think that's the hardest part of this business. Yeah. Having people take it out on us. Yeah.
Well, if you go to their website, you could see all the, the possibilities and potential. There even is, special needs caregivers available and that you're looking for to place. And there's a lot. There's nannies before school, after school. There's temporary jobs available as well. Also, look, I saw one for a technician of some sort, right? A mother's helper. And these are all over the United States. So, I mean, it's pretty impressive, this work, and how your team, your very dedicated team and hardworking team, make this all happen. And how many people do you have with you now on board? Did you just want to do a little shout out to them? I know I met a few of them.
So we've got Jen, so recruitment, Jen, Cheryl-Ann, Tina, and we're starting someone new, Laura, today's training. And then we have Emily and Liana and Delia, the office manager, and Delia's mom, Delia, helps us with references as well.
Got it. And
Suzanne also helps with follow-up calls.
Great.
With getting people on the phone.
Is there, and now what's the downtime like for you? You're a busy woman. You accrue
I don't have
with
any
your own
downtime.
kids. I was going to say, I'm shocked. You're like, you got to go to the gym today, or, wow.
Today I was getting ready to go to the gym, and I have a child with special needs. And so the school called. So I had to put everything on hold and go there. And then I was back doing a marketing meeting. There's no like this. We could all work 24/7 and never be done in this business that I'm mine specific. But no, there's not a lot of downtime.
Yeah. Well,
I'm late for everything.
No, I could imagine. You do so much. And, let's say, for example, someone's here interested and maybe applying to work, for one of your clients. How does the process start? Where do we go?
For the client, so if they go to nannypoppinsagency.com, they can submit their resume or they can call and talk with someone. 888-849-6090 is our main number. Someone will always answer, whether it's one of our team members or the answering service, to get us a message if we're on the line. But there's no fee to applicants.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't realize how much experience they really have. And so we would coach with them, talk with them, and kind of go through their background and see where they would be a good fit for the agency, if they would be. If they don't have enough experience, give them some guidance on what to do to get themselves to be a fit for the agency once they get some more experience. But they would have to just send in their resume and apply. Yeah. And if they don't have a resume, then we would work with them to get them in the right direction so that they can get it all over and to apply. But we're always looking for people in the agency, and I'm always looking for contract recruiters as well.
Yeah.
So we're always looking to hire professional, usually it's women. We have a big group of women, but I'm not opposed to a man. We're always looking for full-time contract recruiters that really want to get in there and have the experience to help us make these matches.
Perfect. Well, clearly you love what you do. I hope you get some downtime. Do you take off any time? And anything coming up for you to help you calm down and relax and enjoy life? Do you have any vacations coming up? No. It's hard.
No, it's not this week, not next week.
Well, hopefully around the holidays.
I do like to travel, so once we get through the holidays, I'll probably take a break. But with this election coming up, it'll be interesting to see how the job reports come out, because we do go right along with real estate and the job market. If you see that the most jobs were placed, after the new year in February, we'll probably make the most placements in February.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you so much.
It's exciting during that time of year when it's busy. But it's going to be.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure, Jennifer Bouchard. One more time, tell us how we can reach you.
So www.nannypoppins, which is NANNYPOPPINS agency, AGNCY, nannypoppinsagency.com is our website. And our telephone number nationwide, you can just call 888-849-6090. And we'll be happy to talk to you about whatever you need.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure seeing you. And hopefully we'll be back again soon. Enjoy your day. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye, Jill.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size. There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.